السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. أما بعد. We said yesterday that today, inshallah Azza wa Jal, we will go through these books. طيب. And we said that there's a sixth one that I was waiting for it to come. And this sixth one, it just came now. طيب. Not gonna show it yet. However, I have a lot to say about it from what I've looked at it so far about this print here. The print is not the best. I don't know if you can actually. Okay, yeah, it does say the name there. طيب. We're gonna keep this to the end, inshallah Azza wa Jal. And first, we're gonna go through these 5 books, and then we're gonna go through this one, inshallah Azza wa Jal. We're gonna start with this one. طيب. And before we start, each of these is on a different topic. Previously in the books of Aqīdah, when we talked about them, most of them were on generally in Aqīdah, except when we spoke about al-Bid'ah of Ibn Waddah, and of course some other books that were only about like al-Asma'u was-Sifat or so. But again, as we said, this video is going to be the last one about the books that are with the Isnad. طيب. And after that, we're going to go into the other books of Aqīdah that are books without Isnad, general books. So we're going to go through these ones, inshallah. طيب. And obviously, inshallah Azza wa Jal, we're going to take like a long break because I have to travel for a few weeks, inshallah Azza wa Jal. So after that, we're gonna go and continue on these ones, inshallah. But inshallah, today I'm gonna record 1 or 2. Tomorrow I might record 1 or 2 as well. So we're gonna have for a few days, inshallah Azza wa Jal. Now I'm gonna start to speak about this one, inshallah Azza wa Jal. Now I want to say these 2 books are not mentioned in this book that we took from in the last clip. So I'm gonna, go through it myself. As we said, first speak about the prints, then speak about who explained it, then speak about the book itself. طيب. So these 2 books are not in this book. These 4 are. طيب. So we're gonna go through these 4, inshallah Azza wa Jal. So as we said, all of these are, of course, in Aqīdah with the Isnad. This one is about we're going to speak about each one, but a lot of these are just in one topic of Aqīdah. طيب. So as we said, we're going to start with this one. This book is Kitabu Fadā'il as-Sahaba of al-Imam Ahmad rahimahullah. Now, of course, this is printed here in two volumes. This is the first one, and this is the second one. طيب. And it's pretty big. طيب. And now I'm gonna say about this print, I don't know of any other print of this book other than this one. This is the only print of this book that I know. And this print is really good. This print is very good. Now, something to know about this print is that Sheikh Wasiyullah Abbas, that this book, if I'm not mistaken, it's a very old tahqiq of his. And so this is basically the second print. There's a first print where the cover, I think the black was like above or something. طيب. So if you see that, then you know that is the first one. طيب. And the Shaykh mentioned here that he, if I'm mistaken, that this is, I think, his he did this for his studies. He did this tahqiq for that. So one thing about this is that he the takhrij of the ahadith is one of the most important things here. So any hadith that you want to know the takhrij of that is in this book, you need to go to this print. The book itself, it's not that big. The book itself is, I think, 1,000. It's almost 2,000 athar. طيب, yeah, 1,962 athar. However, he made it really big with the fact of that he has a huge takhrij of each of the ahadith. So here is the book, here is the takhrij, and then here are any other footnotes that you would want. طيب, like as an example, words that you might not understand at first. طيب, words that you would need to, look. And here he explains 2 words that not everyone might know. Here he also explains a word. Sometimes he mentions, you see here, differences in the in the manuscripts or so. So that is the purpose of the footnotes of this. طيب. Now this print, as we said, of Sheikh was Allāh Abbas. We said this is the only real print that exists. If anyone knows any other print, I've searched, I couldn't find any. طيب. I got this a long time ago, actually. Allah musta'an. And I've read through it. طيب, as you could probably tell by my I didn't completely read it, but we have been reading it as well in a group. We have been reading it with the ikhwa. We're doing 100 athar each class, and we've done four classes. So that means we've read until athar 400. If I would open the place where we stopped here, yeah, you see here. So but these classes are currently paused. We'll continue them inshallah after al-Eid inshallah azza wa jal. طيب, this is about this book and about the prints and so on. Now, of course, there is also the sharh of Sheikh Wasiyullah himself. It's still ongoing as well, and he really comments on this and on the side of the ahadith. طيب, and he speaks about that a lot, and he even reads. He even reads. And they don't just read the book; they also read the takhrij of the Sheikh. طيب. So that is something that's very nice about this. Now, of course, the topic of the book, it's pretty clear. It's about Imam Ahmad comes to all of the Sahaba, طيب, and he mentions what was narrated about them. طيب. That's basically it. Of course, why did we put this in Aqīdah? You could put this in ahadith as well, but the reason I chose to put it in Aqīdah was because it is a response to the Shia, طيب, who denied these ahadith and so on. And some people, when they might read this for the first time and they haven't really read, especially if they haven't read in the other books of Aqīdah, like those that we went through, like Sharia and so, that mention ahadith about the companions, there might be some things here that he might not understand well or so. طيب. And if you want to know about which of the companions he speaks, you can see it here. طيب. So he mentions what was narrated about them. Wallahu al-musta'an. Of course, there's no need to speak about Imam Ahmad himself. طيب. Of course, this book was narrated by his son Abdullah, the author of this book. طيب. So yeah, and some people, they try to say that he was a liar or so, because they don't like that which is in this book, and we have spoken about that when we went through that book, and we said that if you will accuse him of lying because you don't like what he said in that book, then you will need to say that this entire book is, we cannot take from it, and al-Musnad we cannot take from it, and so on. ويعني الله المستعان. And he also added some ahadith to the book of his father, like he did in al-Musnad and in az-Zuhd and so on. Wallahu musta'an. Next up we have Kitab al-Fitan li Nu'aym ibn Hammad. Now, of course, Nu'aym ibn Hammad is one of the great early scholars. طيب. There's no need to talk about him here, inshallah. The print of this book, I like the print, but I like this print on the side of that. The text is nice and big and so on, but it's also bad because number one, it's one color, which might be boring for some people, like it is for me. But what's really bad about this print is literally how the more طيب, like Sheikh Wasiyullah Abbas, he focused a lot on the side of the isnad, and in this one it is good. Really you can gain from that which he said here. However, I don't like how he put it inside of the actual book. Like, while reading it, and as you can probably tell, I didn't read the entire book yet, but that which I did read from it, it was difficult literally to find the actual book, because the footnote is so fat that sometimes I flip the page and it's still the same one. So it's like, bro, where is the actual text, right? But as I said, this is, you can definitely gain from his speech. I don't know if this style is from the Sheikh or if it is from Ad-Dar. طيب. However, if you're gonna print this again, please put the speaking about the isnad like in the footnotes, and leave the book above, and leave the actual text of the book at the top. So then it will be clear what is the actual book and what is not. طيب. And of course, this book as well is printed in two volumes. طيب. Now there are other prints. There was another print that was like a red print, I think. It was printed in Kuwait, Dar Lata'if, I think. Now, Dar Lata'if, the reason I didn't get it is because their prints are really, the prices of their prints are up the sky. So that's one of the main reasons I didn't get it. Number two, because this one is newer, so I thought, that the tahqiq would be more accurate, that he would look at the mistakes in that print. And I'm not saying he didn't, but just this side of the takhrij, it really threw me off, فالله المستعان. Now, about those who explained it, our Sheikh al-Tahiri, he has, it's not like a sharh, but it's like he went through the book. طيب. He went through it. It is in 8 classes. Each class is like an hour and a half or 2. طيب. And I didn't complete them yet, as you could tell. but inshallah Azza wa Jal, we will do that soon. Now, obviously, this book is about what? This book is about the Fitan, more about the topics of what will occur in the end day or in the last day, and so on. And you can tell here the hadith that he mentions. There is not really a table of contents, which is also something I would definitely advise to fix if there's ever a new print. Yani, please, to the Dar, if you're ever gonna print this again, bro, yani, fix this issue with the takhrij, and like maybe add a table of contents so that we can actually see what topics our discs are yani, talked about. Now, of course, if I'm not mistaken, yani, does okay, yeah. So he does actually mention chapters. So it's like, why don't you make an index or a table of contents about the chapters? Yani, that's really weird. I don't know if they did and I just didn't find it, but this is an index of all of the ahadith, and usually the index of the chapters comes after that. And as you can see here, yeah, there's no index of the chapters. So that's weird. طيب. But يعني, you can look through this if you want to know what the book talks about. And basically it talks about the last day and its signs and so on. Yeah. This is basically it. Now, of course, this book is famous for having a lot of weak ahadith. It's also something to talk about here. This book has a lot of weak ahadith. Not just weak, but also ahadith that are straight out يعني fabricated. So this is something to take care of. And this book is like it's not something for someone who's starting, wants to learn in this to reader. So no, this book is a little more advanced. طيب. ويعني الله المستعان. I don't know why I decided to do this like shot of like me putting the book back in its place, yani. But yeah, I guess that now. Yeah. So I might talk about this one next, but I'm probably not. I'm probably gonna leave that for before the last. We're gonna speak first about كتاب التنبيه والرد. طيب, this book. There's two. Before we talk about the prince, there's two people who explain this book. Number one, there's Sheikh. Subhanallah. His name was Hisham al-Biyali. Of course, the Sheikh has some issues, but he explained this book. It was a pretty long one as well. It was a pretty long sharh. It was like over 70 classes. I've looked briefly through it when I was researching about this book. And the reason I researched about this is because I actually explained this book. So yeah, this is... okay. So yeah. So I actually explained this book like a few months ago. No, I wouldn't say explained يعني, but the ikhwa, they read it on me. طيب. And this is why and of course before that I searched a lot about the book. طيب. You can find my sharh, or my commentary on it. You can find it on our channel, of course, on our Arabic channel. طيب. Inshallah, you're gonna find my commentary there. طيب. Now, to talk about the prince of this book. So this book, it doesn't have good prints. طيب. This, without a doubt, is the best one. We're gonna know why in a second. يعني. First print was some Azhari, or no, sorry. Before that, we had a print of, I think it was like a non-Muslim. Yani, you know those people who are not Muslims, but they love the Muslims, and they, yani, they like to learn about Arab culture and so on. Don't know what they're called on English. Yeah. So basically, one of those guys, I think it was a German guy, he found the manuscript of this book, and he did a tahqiq of it like a really, really long time ago, like maybe 1950s or so, around that time. I'm not sure. That print is terrible. That print is so bad you can barely read from it. Now, the issue that faced us when the ikhwa read this book on me is that they didn't have it as a book, so they had to read it from the yani online. Now, of course, this print is not available online, and so they read to me from either that print or from the second print that we will talk about now, and there were tons of issues with that. They actually made mistakes in ayat. They would come to a verse and make a mistake in it, in that tahqiq, which is insane, honestly. That's really bad. And they would also, sometimes he would mention a qira'ah, and that tahqiq, he would, write the qira'ah that is commonly used, and not write the one that he actually wanted to be there, which is very bad. طيب. Then the second one is by someone from Al-Azhar, some Azhari. He did the tahqiq of this after that other guy, and he had the taqdeem, I think, of Al-Kawthari, if I'm not wrong. So I'm not going to go into who that guy is or so, but it's basically a big issue to have that. طيب, just so you know. Yeah. So yeah, that's all about the prints of this book, I guess. So now to actually speak about this yani tahqiq, or this print. I don't like the one who did the tahqiq of this. He has some issues. He also has a tahqiq of some other books of the Salaf, like the books of Ad-Darimi, or the books of As-Sunnah or so, and there we can really see how he deals with these issues. So he's not the best to make the tahqiq. If I'm not mistaken, this is the guy who made the 5-volume tahqiq of this book when we talked about that. And so I mentioned everything about him when we talked about this book. طيب, so go back to that, inshallah Azza wa Jal. طيب, now we actually talk about the book. Obviously, before we go to that, this is the best print by far. Not because this is good, but because the rest are terrible. طيب, of course it's a Saudi print. The paper is very good. طيب, the paper is very nice. Actually, I just realized I forgot to speak about the paper in the last book. So the last book, this yani print, it's the paper is okay. It's not the best, but it's good for the price yani that it comes at. And the same, or sorry, here, this is the best type of paper yani that you would always want. This the type of paper that you would always want. Yeah. And of course, as you can see, it is red and black, which is very nice. I genuinely love how, because the cover is green, this thing, I don't know what it's called, is green as well. That's really nice. طيب. There are other prints of this book, or sorry, this book is printed as well in black and in red. So I don't know if in that case they would give you a red one or a black one. If that is true, then that would be really good. But of course, this is not something that, you know, that will make a difference, يعني, about the print. يعني. It's just a nice detail. يعني. What I like about this tahqiq is that in the start he mentions some of the issues that the author fell into. Now, some of them are actual issues, and some of them are problems from the guy who did the tahqiq, like this one. I spoke about that in my commentary, and we laughed a lot about this one and about some of the other ones that he went to. فيعني this tahqiq is, يعني, it is okay. Now, as we said, we're gonna go about the topics of the book. طيب. Now, first, this book is basically, it's of 4 parts. طيب. The first part, actually, I should probably look this up because I don't remember. I might make a mistake while saying here, so should probably check. So here he says so this book is 4 parts. So he said the first and the second and the fourth part are lost, and this يعني is the third part of the book. طيب. Now this book is about showing the Aqīdah of Ahlus Sunnah and responding to those that are not from us. طيب. And so this third part is about responding to those groups. طيب. He said that the first and the second part, they speak about some of the groups and some of the other يعني adyan or so, but he didn't mention about the groups in Islam. So he talked about the groups of the Jews and the Christians and so on. طيب. And he spoke about them. طيب. And in the fourth one he said وإن كان محقق المطبوع قد قرر إثباته ضمن هذا الجزء لكن كان الألف السابق والجزء الرابع. طيب. He said the fourth part is also lost يعني. And he ended this part with speaking about groups of the Khawarij يعني, and so on. Now, the reason why this book is such an important book in this topic is because it is a book that speaks about groups and sects and adyan and groups inside of those adyan. طيب. So, and as you can see, the author, he died in the year 377, which makes this one of the earliest books in this topic of speaking about other groups or other deen or so. And of course, from some of the other books in this topic, actually I might remove this book first, like these books that are on top. Some of the other books that speak about this topic are these 3. So these are the 3 other books that I have in this topic of the adyan, of the sects, and so on. This one is one of the earliest ones of al-Baghdadi. He died almost 80 88 years after he died. طيب, so this shows you why this one is such an important book in this topic. طيب. And another thing is that he was a Sunni and he was an Ash'ari. يعني this guy, he was an Ash'ari. طيب. Should we just talk about this book? No, we're gonna keep that for when we speak about these two as well. Now there is another early book which is al-Milal wan of Ash-Shahristani. That one is in two volumes. It is also around the time of this book. طيب. But he was also an Ash'ari. So this is why this book is such an important one in this topic, because he was not Ash'ari. طيب. Now, of course, other books that we have, these two books that I have here as well in this topic. This book is more about groups that ascribe to Islam, and this one speaks as well about the other adyan and so on. But we're going to speak about each of these inshallah azza wa jal when we go through them. طيب. But both of these, they are books of our time. The author of this book, I think he's still alive. Nasir al-Aql, I think he's alive as well. So this is what shows us how important this book actually is in the topic that it talks about. Now, of course, he first spoke about the Shia and their groups. Then he spoke about Irja and the Jahmis and their groups, and then he spoke about the Khawarij, and as well he spoke about their groups. So now, as we said, we're going to look at what the Sheikh said about this book here. So first he spoke about the prince. This also something that I love about him. There's some prints that he mentioned that I actually didn't know about. And then he spoke about also the other prints that we talked about as well. He said this book is one of the most important books, because it is one of the earliest books in this topic. This is what we said as well. And he said that which is printed is the third part. والذي طبع هو الجزء الثالث من it is the third part of 4, as we said. Now, I'm gonna summarize it, inshallah azza wa jal, just so we can mention that which the Sheikh said, that which I didn't say. طيب. So as an example, the Sheikh, he says as well, one of the good things about this book is that he mentions from books that we actually now do not that we have now, or that we don't that are lost. طيب. And this is a good thing, because then we get a look at these books that are now actually lost. And there are examples of some books that are entirely lost, but we can know some of that which was in them based on what others mentioned from that book. And we will talk about this and who brought from him, like Ibn al-Qayyim and so on. طيب, when we talk about this book, inshallah azza wa jal. But now, طيب, so he said that he mentioned from books that are lost, and he mentioned some of them, and he said as well that he was on the way of the Salaf in Aqīdah, طيب, which is not like the other ones who came after them, like some of those that we talked about. And he said also that his wording is a very simple one, and he doesn't go into words that some people might not understand or so. طيب. And then he mentioned some of the issues with it. طيب. This one is a small issue, and this one as well. And as I said, I mentioned some other issues about this book in the start of my commentary on it. Wallahu al-musta'an. That was difficult to get. Okay. Now we will speak about this book. Now this book is, as you can probably tell by the title, it is a book about the divine decree. طيب, it is a book about the divine decree. طيب. Yeah, that's basically all. Yeah, he mentions the athar of the Salaf in this. He comments on the ahadith and so on. Now about the prince here, the Sheikh mentions some of them, but this honestly doesn't have a lot of prints. So there's one of this Sheikh. This is the first one, and then there's the newer one, which is this one, which is this. Which is this one. Is this the same muhaqqiq? Yes, this is actually the same one as the last book. And when I read this, I didn't really look at the tahqiq side of it. طيب. And honestly, while looking at this print, it really felt like it was a print of this dar, which I realized now it might actually not be because of the dar, but because of the guy who did the tahqiq of this. طيب. And this guy, he has a lot of tahqiqat, as we said. I realized he is also the one who did the 5-volume print of this book, which we talked about there. So basically, as the Sheikh says here, he mentions the issues about the divine decree. Yeah, that's basically all. Now, of course, this book is a very important book in its topic, because he mentions with his isnad what the Salaf said in the divine decree, and he mentions the tafsir of some of the of some of the ayat in this. طيب. He speaks about those who denied the divine decree. طيب. And he and the Sheikh who did, or who worked on this book, he also first talked about the author, then he talked about the book, and then he talked about the divine decree and mentioned some of the issues in it. Now, I honestly don't know if that one was good or not, because I didn't read it, but I read this book. This is definitely one of the most important books in this topic. طيب. As for who went through it, Sheikh Sheikh Mimi, he commented on this book, and I uploaded that on our channel as well. Wallahu musta'an. Next up, we are left over with these two gold books. طيب. Of course, we still didn't show what this one is. This one is Kitabu al-Adhamah of Abi Shaykh al-Asbahani. Now, this book is actually it's not as big as it seems. طيب. يعني here it's actually printed in five volumes, which I see is too big, because this book, it's also printed in a different print in one volume. So yeah. Now, of course, the price tag on this is not the cheapest, simply just because of its size. طيب. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the first volume, and I'm gonna grab the last one as well. And now we can look at these two, inshallah azza wa jal. So basically, the prints of this book, as I said, this is the only one that I actually know. If we go ahead and look into what the Shaykh said here, we can probably see that the Shaykh mentioned other prints that I don't know of. So the Shaykh mentioned here that he spoke here about the prints. Oh wait, actually no. This is the only print that he mentioned. So that means, I guess, this is the only print of this book. Yeah. Okay. So as I said, there was another print in one volume, but this was actually not that common. That one's very difficult to find, and I tried to get it at that time, and I couldn't. So then I got a good price tag on this one, so I went and I got it here. The Sheikh says as well that some of the other prints, or not some of the other prints, but he said that some people, they added to this book because they thought that some of the manuscripts are of this book, and they are not. طيب. So yeah. So now, as he said here, as it's clear from the title of the book, it is about Tawheed al-Asma'i was-Sifat. It is about the Tawheed of al-Asma' was-Sifat, and it talks about how great Allah Azza wa Jal is. Now you can read the rest of what he said here. He said, as an example, from the things that are not good, he doesn't mention the ruling on the ahadith and so on. You can look at these. In the end, these are not that big of a deal. طيب. However, this first one could be a little bigger. This one, of course, is not that big of a lot of stat. He mentioned from the good things about the book is that is that he mentioned some of the he mentioned some of the sifat of Allah Azza wa Jal that some people they disagreed with us on, and so he affirmed them. He mentions the isnad, he mentions the ayat with their tafsir, and he says that this is a very important book for people to go back to. طيب. And this is why this book is very much comparable to these ones that we have talked يعني about before. And as he said here, that it was also one of the sources from where the scholars after him who would يعني talk about these things who they would take from. So now to actually go through the book. Oh, okay, sorry. So now to actually go through the content of the book. So first is about the tahqiq, about how the time was and where the sheikh he lived, about the sheikh himself, rahimahullah, about the book, and then he actually brings the start of this book, and it's all, as you can see, in Aqīdah. طيب, I'm going to show it quickly so you guys can look through it, but everything is in Aqīdah. He basically mentions with isnad يعني almost everything that you could think about. He speaks about Allah Azza wa Jal. He speaks about the angels and the prophets and the last day and so on. And now that brings us to the last book of this يعني clip, inshallah Azza wa Jal. I have a ton to say about the prince, which is this book, al-Hujjah fi bayani al-Mahajjah. Now, if you look at what the Sheikh actually said about it here, and he spoke a lot about it. It starts here and it ends here. Now he spoke about other books in more depth. طيب. But as we said before, we actually speak about the book, speak about the contents. I'm going to speak about the prince. Now, what was that? Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, why does he say that he died in this year? Bro, I think this is the Christian year when he died, and not the Islamic calendar, because this is the Islamic calendar when he died. What? So regardless of that weird issue, he spoke about there is the print of Sheikh Rabi', and there's the print of Dar al-Faruq. طيب. And the reason why I couldn't get, or I didn't get the print of Sheikh Rabi' is because it's a very old one, as you can tell. طيب. Plus, it has a lot of issues, and this is a normal thing for the first print of a book to يعني have issues. طيب. Because it's the first one. So then after that, there came the print of Dar al-Faruq. The reason I didn't get that because I couldn't find it at all here where I live. So this is why I got this one of Dar ibn Abbas, and I looked at the PDF of this, and I found it to be really nice. And I have to be honest, the PDF is a lot better than this one. Genuinely, يعني the PDF is it's like red and black, like, right? It is a lot better than this one. This is all I will say. I think the issue is with the dar, because this was really cheap. يعني it was too cheap, and you can really tell the printing. It's terrible. يعني this color, it feels so cheap. The paper even, it feels really cheaper. Like, what is this? You know, like it feels even cheaper than this one, which we talked about before, and this one was already cheap. Like, there is also this one. I just don't like these types of covers, even though this one from يعني inside it's very good, but from the يعني this is it's just I don't know. But this one is even worse. Like, bro, this feels so bad. It literally smells, bro. Like, it actually has like a weird smell to it, bro. Now, I was not going to get this print at all, because I know that this is like a cheap print. However, I didn't have any other choice. Why? Because I really I don't like how that sounds. But because I really didn't, there's no other print than this one. The other two ones that we talked about, I couldn't find at all. And of course, this one from the text side, it is the best one. طيب, this يعني I'm not even going to lie, from the side of the tahqiq, I love this one. يعني from the tahqiq, the actual contents of the book, they're really good. يعني the tahqiq is good, right? But the print, it's so bad, bro. It's really bad. Like, when I first opened this, now I was like, bro, it feels so bad. Like, genuinely, bro. The paper, you can literally see the place where they cut it. Like, here, you see these lines? Like, bro, like, sorry. I mean, I can't really say anything for like $15 for a 2-volume book, but still, it's just, why is this color going above the يعني so the print is terrible. The print, if we mean the actual print, about the content, about the tahqiq and so on, it's good. As we said, it's very nice. I would want to, يعني, if someone knows this sheikh, can you please tell him to print this in a different dar? يعني, it doesn't have to be cheap. يعني, get to a different dar and just please print it in a better print. I'm sorry, this is so bad. This is genuinely terrible. Allah understand. Subhanallah, it's so bad. As I said, the actual PDF of this is a lot. It looks a lot better than it actually looks here. Inshallah, if he could print it somewhere else. This is already from 2016. So I mean, that may be also why it's not the best. Yani, I'm genuinely feeling weird touching this. Genuinely, like, there are bad stuff, right? Like this as an example, but this one is just a different degree of that. Yani, it's so bad, bro. I'm sorry for like talking about how bad this is, how bad this print is. طيب, but you really need to know. Learn that. So the reason why I didn't buy this for a long time, and we spoke about that in the last episode when we talked about this book, and I said that there was a new print that was going to come from this dar. However, they closed before that. So I said that يعني this book, I got the previous print because they closed, so you know they're not going to يعني bring a new print, and they were actually going to print this book with the تحقيق of the guy who did this print. طيب, ignore the book, but you know this print. طيب, and wallahi, I need to tell you, this is so good. يعني wallahi, if this print would have come out, يعني look, it's like white paper. It is this is red. This is يعني this is so. This is everything that you would want in a print. I don't actually want to take the book of this guy as an example. So here is the same guy who did the tahqiq of this book. Look at how clean this is. This is so nice. So I was really looking forward to him publishing this book. Then when I realized that wouldn't come, I was like, okay, then I guess I need to get this one, because I really wanted to read that book. You know, if someone knows this guy, could tell him to actually print the tahqiq that he did in a different dar, then I'm gonna give this one away, يعني, if I haven't taken notes in it by then. Allah understand. Now, about the ones who explained this book, I don't know of anyone who did, honestly. Muhammad Abdul Ghaffar, I think he has a commentary on it that is like, it's still not done. طيب, so you could listen to that, but I don't know of anyone else. يعني, I just realized I forgot to mention who did the commentary on this book. So there is actually no one who read this. I'm planning to read this inshallah Azza wa Jal soon on the channel, يعني, inshallah Azza wa Jal. There is the 44 class sharh of Ibn Ibrāhīm. طيب, so this is one thing you could go to. طيب. So yeah, just to mention that. So now let's see what the Shaykh had to say about this book. So he said from the good things about this book is that he explained the asma of Allah Azza wa Jal. He explained the names of Allah Azza wa Jal. طيب. He said that it is one of the books in Aqīdah that collect the most. He mentioned that this book is a source for knowing that the books of those who came before him are actually authentic to them. And he mentioned some of the ones that we talked about, like, you know, like Ibn Khuzaymah, and of course Abu Shaykh and Ibn Manda and so on. And from those, you know, this book that we talked about, that we said it is completely lost. Actually, a lot of this we took either from this book or from this book. طيب. You know, this is why he talked about this, or he talked about this book here. He said that he mentioned a lot of important details in Aqīdah. طيب. He mentioned ahadith and athar with isnad. He mentioned some of the issues in fiqh. He responds to the Ash'aris and to the Jahmis and so on. I don't know why he said he is excused for mentioning weak ahadith. Yani Sheikh, what يعني why does he why do you need to be excused from mentioning a weak okay I don't know, but so basically if you mention a weak ahadith with the isnad, then that is okay. So I don't know why the Sheikh said he's excused for that, as if it's like something that's so bad. I don't know, but yeah. So now let's actually go through the book. I haven't looked at it a lot still. I've looked at the PDF a lot. You can see that the Muhaqqiq, as we said, he did good work on the takhrij, and as we said, he's very close to the earlier books about affirming the sifat of Allah Azza wa Jal, responding to those who denied them, showing that one must hold tight to the sunnah, and so on. All of these things that we have spoken about in previous books. طيب. And he mentions, of course, with his isnad. Bro, this print is so terrible. The pages stick, bro. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. He also speaks about staying away from innovations. He speaks about the companions. طيب. He speaks about not making takfir and why that is a very big issue. He spoke about the events of the last day and that which would come before them, and so on. Everything that we've said before. So this is inshallah Azza wa Jal the end of this clip. Wallahu musta'an. Please try to contact this sheikh. Tell him to print this in a different dar, please. Okay, this is all I'm going to say here. Wallahu musta'an. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.